It looks like the campaign is going to be changing a lot in Path of Exile 2 0.5, not only because of what they shared during the live stream, which I'm going to go into, but in my campaign codex Discord, it's a Discord to figure out layouts and also help people learn to speedrun. One of the GGG level designers dropped a pretty big hint that things are going to be quite different and hopefully a bit better. So firstly, I'm going to go into some of the changes that they did show during the reveal and their impact on going through the campaign for more casual players, but then also talk a bit about what Suna had to say. So for those of you who aren't familiar with PoE 1, in most areas, there are little visual clues to help you navigate throughout the area much more quickly. If you don't know them, it's fine, but when you do know them, it's really handy and speeds you up. There's so many of these, and they're so helpful that actually some of the first few videos I ever made on my channel are of these little tips to get through the campaign faster. And then I did a more updated series, and people love these tips. If you're able to learn these, and they're not that hard because once you see them, you don't really forget them, you're able to almost double your campaign time pretty quickly. And now the changes that they're proposing, we're going to be getting very similar ones in PoE 2. Things like pathways that lead to Renly's tools in Argon Village, or in Act 2, there's going to be different kinds of monster types that are closer to bosses that you need to kill, or in Act 3, there's going to be a line of snakes that lead into Venom Crypts, and then again, different kinds of monsters that are close to the objective that you might notice, and you say, oh, there's those monsters, that means that the thing is over here. All of those add up a lot. For example, in PoE 1, there's an area called the Grain Gate. This is a massive area. The goal is to get from one side of it to the other, but within the area, there are all these buildings that you need to travel through, and many of them are just dead ends or loops that you go around, or they're kind of like fake outs where you can go through it, but it's not really the right way. However, if you know that outside the door, there is a dead guard that is lying there, if you go through that one, that is the correct way. And if you're able to identify that, which is, again, it's very easy to remember, you can cut the time that you spend in that area in half very, very quickly. So all these changes that they are proposing are fantastic. I'm super on board with these. And I think a lot of players, especially ones who do not like the campaign or want it shrunk down, they're going to be most appreciative of these. It's a really clever way of making the campaign smaller without actually physically making it smaller. Couple of other things. During the Q&A with Ziggy D, Jonathan also mentioned that some areas are actually just straight up getting removed from the game. The second level of the Dreadnought, for example, in Act 2, they had previously the 1 and then the second level, and they were both really long and pretty tough for a lot of builds. Instead, now there's just going to be one of those, and it's going to be a little bit longer. I think there's quite a few areas in the game like this where you sort of feel like they're a little bit redundant, and you go through them just because you have to, not because there's any point to them. Maybe get a bit of XP, but cutting down to just like what really matters is, again, I think excellent change. But now let's get on to what Suna said, because I think this is the most exciting thing. And presumably, I'm allowed to share this. This is posted in a fairly large Discord publicly, so hopefully I'm not getting Suna in trouble. But Suna, level designer at GGG, said, all right, now that the content reveal is out in the open, I can speak more to what's changing in the campaign. I won't post full patch notes, since what will and won't make it may still change. In short, if you're planning on practicing layouts for League Start, I would strongly advise against it. Only a few areas have remained untouched. Most have had at least minor layout tweaks, with others being completely reworked. Some are now even accessed from a different area than before. So the whole point of this Discord server is to figure out layouts, and Suna is saying, don't waste your time, everything's going to be different. Presumably in a better way, not, oh, we're going to have to learn everything again. I assume they're not going to make things bigger or more convoluted. That doesn't make sense. Presumably, a lot of the layouts will be still readable, but with hopefully additional things that make it easier rather than harder. A few other things. Suna mentions Act 4 layouts have not been touched yet and are the least likely to change. So if you do want to check out some of my layout guides for Act 4, I can link those. And also, Suna mentions Chimeral Wetlands no longer has like 40 layouts. And hopefully this is the case for some of the zones that are really, really, really confusing. So all of this is very exciting. I think that the campaign is going to be a much, much better experience. For a long time, people have said that the campaign is way too long. I think in combination with the lack of layout clues and the lack of movement skills for at least most people are not using things like pounce or shield charge to move around, it makes it feel like a bit sluggish. And also not knowing where you're going is a bit frustrating. So all these changes, brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it. I need to figure out what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks, but I'm thinking maybe playing some campaign runs on stream. So if you want to follow me on Twitch, follow me there. I also stream on YouTube, so you can catch my live streams here. That's going to be it. Have a wonderful day. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.